and distinguished guests and honorable representatives, dear delegates. I am, first of all and above all, would like to be thankful to our representative guests who have been able and who have expressed their willingness to participate in this opening ceremony of the first premier edition of the International Model United Nations Conference taking place in Moldova on the 27th, 30th of June. I would also like to express my gratitude to the organizers, to the members of the Secretariat, for being present at the opening ceremony of this important event, we believe, for the Republic of Moldova. Moldova International Model United Nations is a result of the previous national edition of the Model United Nations on a national level. We believe that the advancement of this initiative is important, and we have initiated this platform for dialogue, understanding and building relationships of mutual trust and international cooperation on identifying issues that may be discussed and addressed by young people in a cooperative and in a diplomatic manner. We believe that this might represent the start of a framework for sharing together the best practices and the best experience and knowledge possible to ensure that the four main goals of the United Nations, which are maintaining peace and international security, developing friendly relationships between nations, ensuring and fostering international cooperation, as well as centering the harmonization among all member states. We believe that these four United Nations objectives can be met only through the involvement of all of us together. We believe that young people are very important for the advancement of the United Nations principles and values among each of us. That's why I would like to express, first of all, for the distinguished guests and the honorable representatives of the partners of the Model United Nations will allow me to do so, I would like to, first of all, introduce the organizing committee and the team that has made possible this initiative to advance. Model United Nations this year has advanced in a new format, an international one. We believe this is important for building bridges of cooperation for future initiatives and for the opportunity of fostering continuous dialogue for future editions of the Model United Nations. In these ways, being able to not only simulate the activity and the internal functioning system of the United Nations, but also to be able to build relationships between different nations, to be able to foster intercultural dialogue and to promote the main values of a democratic state, especially now that we are celebrating the International Year of Youth, and also we are marking the 20 years of independence of the Republic of Moldova very soon. So I would like to, if the distinguished guests will allow me to do so, to remark the organizing committee, which is Nina Spataru, member of the Human Resources Natalia Tataranchuk, local recruitment, Tatiana Zuravskaya, unfortunately, was not able to be here. Alex Lebedev, member of the marketing Victoria Vlad, also member of the marketing and PR team. Fatima Jalo, member of the logistic and events team. Irina Luda, member of the logistic and events team as well. Unfortunately, she was not able to be here as well. And everybody else, all the volunteers and all the organizers who were very much involved in this initiative. I will, at the end of this ceremony, take the chance to give the word to the Secretary General, who will announce as well the members of the Secretariat, representatives of international Model United Nations initiatives, partnering for the initiation of this tradition in the Republic of Moldova. I would like to express my gratitude for the support offered by the International Model United Nations in Cluj, by the Bucharest International Model United Nations, the Moscow International Model United Nations, the initiatives in Bonn, Milan, and other cities that supported the start of this initiative and tradition in the Republic of Moldova. At this time, I would like to give the word to our one of our very important partners, the United Nations, the representative of the United Nations organization in Moldova, Mr. Peter Kessler, President Coordinator ad interim of the United Nations in Moldova, and as well I would like to express my biggest gratitude and thanks to the support that the United Nations has shown for the advancement of this initiative in the Republic of Moldova. Mr. Kessler, we are very honored to have you here today.
Well, thank you very much. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I feel like I'm at the front of a Boeing 747. And fasten your seatbelts because I'm sure you're going to have a lot of fun these next 2.5 days. It is a pleasure and an honor for me to open the International Model United Nations 2011 in the Republic of Moldova. This is a unique event and opportunity for young people from across Moldova and other countries. I understand you come from Bulgaria, Russia, Ireland, Azerbaijan, and Romania to experience global democracy, engaging yourselves in simulations of the decision-making process of 4 United Nations bodies. The General Conference theme, Human Rights and Conflict Resolution, is especially relevant, as nowadays prolonged conflict or instability in places such as Somalia, Iraq, or Afghanistan, unfolding crises in North Africa and the Middle East, and economic instabilities in such places as diverse as Belarus and Greece may threaten development goals, menace civilians, and risk even spilling across borders. In this context, you will have the possibility to better understand regional and global issues and the complexities of international policy formulation. The benefits of simulating the work of the United Nations system and the decision-making process that takes place in its bodies are enormous. Over these next days, you will better appreciate the way international diplomacy works, as well as how international organizations function. When I was about 8 years old, I visited the UN General Assembly in New York, and never imagined that one day I would find myself working for the UN. So I think that you're going to be much better prepared than I. During this week, you will further develop and hone skills which are indispensable for future world leaders, government officials, civil servants, and academics who are engaged in policy formulation. The United Nations advocates for participation and leadership of young people. We promote life skills education, peer-to-peer education, and universal access to sexual and reproductive health services, HIV prevention, treatment, care, and support for young people. We are working to empower young women, including adolescent girls, and to prevent gender-based violence. Our work is grounded in a human rights-based approach where we promote inclusive practices and policies for the benefit of all. UN agencies here in Moldova and around the world attach a great importance to young people, as they are vital for the success of this country in achieving its development goals. Young people are a rich source of innovative solutions, solutions needed to address some of the most pressing problems facing Moldova today, from the economy to the political and electoral processes. Moldova's young people play important roles. Much of the UN's work in Moldova focuses on addressing the quality of life of young people and the services vulnerable persons can receive. We have created social reintegration centers for youth and youth-friendly health centers where vulnerable young people can benefit from shelter and access psychological, health, and social care. Education of independent life skills and activities aimed at facilitating access to the labor market. We carry out awareness campaigns promoting healthy behaviors and lifestyles and the integration of marginalized groups such as For Children Left Behind, the Roma, the elderly, and refugees. We support local and national youth networks. We provide access to information and create regional platforms for discussion like the UN Documentation Center in Belts, Kahul, and Kumrat. Using Facebook sites like the UNICEF Moldova and UNHCR Moldova pages, we're also reaching out via online platforms. We also engage young people through social theater and information bulletins and competitions like 1 Minute Junior and the Pluro Plus Video Festival. We support young people's participation in the decision-making process and active participation in community life, amongst many activities. Just today, we have a display going on at Moldova's Chisinau's main shopping center, Moldova, where we're promoting my own organization's work with refugees and stateless persons. This year's Model UN is another example of the UN's support to facilitate the young generation's experience of global diplomacy. Vital, and you'll be hearing more about the MDGs soon, but vital to the success of the Millennium Development Goals like eradicating extreme poverty and hunger, achieving universal primary education, promoting gender equality and empowering women, reducing child mortality, improving maternal health, combating HIV/AIDS, malaria, and other diseases, ensuring environmental sustainability, and developing global partnership for development, and keeping global partnership for development on track is where young people in particular have a critical role to play. As you are no doubt aware, young people have the potential to be a powerful force as advocates for the Millennium Development Goals and agents for change in your societies. Through activities like the Model UN simulations, you're going to be showing what is possible in the fight against poverty in your communities, in your countries. This event lies under this International Year of Youth and with a focus on its general theme, dialogue and mutual understanding. The UN and its youth organization partners focus on the need to promote the ideas of peace, respect for human rights, and solidarity across generations, cultures, religions, and civilizations. You have an important weight on your shoulders because you're going to be playing important roles. Role-playing is something that never stops, but indeed, the lessons you're going to learn in the next few days will be with you throughout your lives. Let me thank you very much, and let me wish you success and an enjoyable experience.
Thank you, Mr. Kessler, for your support and for the speech that you have delivered for our delegates and our secretariat members of the conference. We are honored to have at this opening ceremony also Mrs. Valerie Colby, Public Affairs Officer at the U.S. Embassy in Moldova. The U.S. Embassy has shown a great support to the Model United Nations initiative this year and the previous one as well, and we are very thankful for that. Thank you.
Good afternoon. It's really wonderful to be here and see you all today. This is very exciting. I don't know how it feels from where you're sitting, but from where I'm sitting, this is really tremendously exciting to get to see this project launched. Thank you very much, Olga. Thank you for having me here to say a few opening words as you get started on this very exciting experiment. I have to say, on the side, I'm from New York, so the UN is part of my neighborhood. This is, for large, very important parts of my life. I pass by the UN every day, and I just sort of took it for granted almost as part of the scenery, except for when the General Assembly happened and all the traffic was messed up in Manhattan for days. But in general, I feel like as a closeness, almost geographically, to the UN. And so it's important for me to be here today and to know that for all of you, it was important enough for you to come here and participate in this activity. This is such an important activity, as you know. I commend you all for your interest. in coming here. I know that some of you have traveled. I hadn't realized the countries until Peter mentioned it, but I did know that there were people who had traveled here. And I say, welcome to Moldova. I think, I'm sorry for the weather, but I think you're going to enjoy your stay here. There are some really wonderful people to meet and wonderful things to see, and I think you're really in the right place. I'm glad you're all here. As you know, the Model United Nations provides an outstanding opportunity to learn about multilateral diplomacy from the inside. I mean, by role-playing, by participating in the sessions, you're not just reading about it, which is also valuable and important, but you're playing that role. You're looking at it from within. And that experience gives you so much more, in my opinion, than the passive experience of reading about it or watching it, perhaps, on television. By simulating the UN sessions, you'll be seeing how representatives from the different countries work together to promote peace and security, human rights, and global economic development, among other topics. But in addition to what you'll be doing in terms of the substance of the Model United Nations, it's also going to give you the opportunity to develop, although I'm sure many of you already have these skills, to also refine skills that will be useful to you for the rest of your life, in your educational pursuits, in your professional pursuits. I hope someday some of you are sitting where we're sitting right now, welcoming a new Model UN group. What you do here in the next few days will help you develop your communication skills, particularly group communication, which, as you all know, is so very different from individual one-on-one and requires a whole different set of skills. Your critical thinking skills, your research skills, public speaking. I mean, goodness knows how important that is these days. Policy analysis, active listening, not just listening, but actively listening. Negotiating, conflict resolution, and of course, note-taking and technical writing. You can't really do anything without those, and I think to be a success in this activity as well as in your futures, these are great skills to pick up, and I'm sure you're really going to refine your skills over the next few days. I don't think it's going to be easy, but it's going to be challenging, and it's going to be exciting, and it's going to be fun. That's why you're all here. I want to say a special thank you to Olga for putting this together. I really commend you for coordinating this event. I know that there's been a lot of moving parts and there's a lot of pieces that have to come together to pull this, and I really applaud you for your hard work. I also proudly say that Olga is a United States Government Exchange Program alumni, which I'm very proud of. Also, I want to thank Olga's team that has helped, the people that we were introduced to earlier. I know that many of you are also Exchange alumni, so way to go. But even if you're not, still, great job for everybody here. Also, thank you to the Creative Development Association for your support and for your organizing role in playing this. As we all know, nothing this substantial and complicated ever comes together without an awful lot of work. So thank you to all of you who put the work in to make this happen. Thank you to all of you who traveled to be here today or who just got on the bus to be here today. I think you're in for a very exciting couple of days, and I envy you. I think it's going to be really fun. So congratulations, and I wish you much success.
Thank you, Mrs. Valerie Colby. Actually, we believe that we believe as well that the advancement of this initiative in the Republic of Moldova is important, taking into account that about 60,000 young people worldwide participate in Model United Nations. And it's important, we believe, for the Republic of Moldova to be one of those countries who gathers international young academics to simulate the United Nations. That is why we are very honored to have here today for the opening ceremony the Deputy Minister of Foreign Affairs and European Integration, Mr. Andrei Popov. We have experienced an important support from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs as well, with expertise and consultations on the content of the conference, and we hope that these kind of initiatives contribute to the advancement of the foreign policy of the Republic of Moldova. Mr. Andrei Popov, welcome you to our opening ceremony. Thank you for being here.
Well, thank you very much, and I could not resist this temptation and accept the invitation. Though I'm in between two flights, I flew in Chisinau yesterday from Kiev, and I'm flying out Chisinau tomorrow to Montenegro through Moscow. But when I heard from Olga that you are having this event here in Chisinau, after several months ago, Olga in details told me about this project, I decided that there is no other way to learn firsthand but to come and meet you and talk to you and get energized by this very much optimistic energy which I feel here in this room. As the previous two speakers related themselves to the UN experience, Peter went to UN at the age of 8, Valerie is from New York. I also tell a personal story, as at about your age, after graduating from university and then master's studies, my first workplace was in Chisinau at the United Nations Development Project in Chisinau, the United Nations Development Program in Chisinau, and this was a launching pad for my career, and I treasured this year I spent in UN system, and I learned quite a lot. Capacity to learn is the key feature and key factor of success. So I strongly encourage everybody to have this constant learning attitude towards life and squeeze out of any experience you get maximum in terms of lessons you can learn, skills you can develop and practice. And obviously, these 3 days, which brought you all together here in Chisinau, is a fantastic opportunity to exercise these skills. And I'm very grateful that Valerie mentioned in so details the various skills which one would require for successful activity within UN nation, but I dare to say for successful life. And therefore, I think it is a great opportunity for you. As previous colleagues covered most of the points which my colleagues advised me to use in talking to you, I'll use a couple of personal experiences. One, I'll tell you a story about negotiations and about communications and about how to get to yes and how to reach to a win-win situation. And that's a key for success, and that's why United Nations was established in the first place after the end of the bloodiest world, Second World War, just to bring nations around the world, notwithstanding the differences among their interests, to try to make them find common denominators. Even if what they agree doesn't reflect the maximum objectives and goals of any of the countries, but at least the common denominator satisfies at least the minimal requirements of each country. And with this introduction, I tell you the famous story which is in negotiating books, and the best to my taste is Getting to Yes. There is Fisher, Harvard School, Getting to Yes, then there is successive getting to how to say no and still get to yes, but this is a more complicated thing. You have to know, by the way, it's a key feature in life, you have to know when and how to say yes, to defend your principles, but without compromising relationship and without sacrificing your interest and without offending the party you are talking to. And the story I wanted to share with you is the following. There's a squirrel in a family. 2 brothers were fighting for an entire evening, and their dad, hearing how bad they're fighting, actually fist fighting, decided to check what's going on and say, guys, what's going on? Why are you fighting? And actually they couldn't divide an orange. An orange, apelsin, portobello. And that's, well, it's simple. Just make it half and half, and this will be equal, brotherly way. And everybody was insisting on getting exactly 1 piece of orange. And there is no way father could find a compromise. Does anybody know what is the outcome of this dispute and how every party was satisfied in the end? No way?
The father ate the orange.
This is a very, very hegemonic, non-UN approach. There is somebody.
One brother did the whole orange, the other thought that he can use this situation for the future.
Okay, it's an sacrificing. It's an interesting attitude. You sacrifice your immediate goals. You invest in the relationship and get benefits afterwards. It's an important concept. How to invest in relationships, see long term, but actually achieve your goals. But this is not the exact answer. Please, introduce yourself.
My name is Mahari and I'm from Ireland.
Ireland.
I probably think that if they squeeze the orange, they will get the juice. And then
We are close. We are close. Well, yes, please, and please introduce yourself.
I'm Aydan from Azerbaijan. I actually know the answer.
Yes.
Basically, one of the parties wanted the actual juice, while the other wanted the skin of the orange. So basically,
that's it.
Fantastic. That's the right answer from this. Let's applaud that. Knowing the other's interest, being able to listen and also to communicate, to say clearly what are your objectives and to understand what are the objectives of the others. This is a key for success in any communication. And in that particular case, one of the brothers needed just the juice to measure how many calories there is of his school test. And another one needed the whole skin for project at school. There is an art project, and he needed entire oranges skin. But as you can see, one could find a common denominator which would satisfy everybody's interest. Communication is fundamental value, and without communication one cannot advance and progress, and therefore take advantage of this experience, engage in communication, meet your peers, and strengthen this network. It's a pity I will not be in Chisinau. I would love to come and to help Olga organize a contest with you participants, but you can do it in terms of self-organization and see whether there will be anybody after the end of this 3-day session who will be able to know at least by name every single participant. I tell you, this is possible if you want to do this, and this brings a lot of benefits in your life. Capacity to meet people, capacity to have relationship, and to engage in communication. So if you take all of this challenge, why don't you see whether there is anybody who can do this by the end of this exercise? It's not only about communication, it's also about respecting others' interests and respecting the differences, which is very important, and promoting an inclusive approach to life and to world. We are different, nobody is the same, we have different skills, we are born different, but at the same time each of us deserves respect, and the role of the state is to create the environment so every personality can perform his potential to the maximum. And that's my life credo, and there is a participant, Leah, whom I shared this in a previous discussion 2 months ago, that I think that everybody is coming to this life with a certain sense of project. He can become somebody, not in terms of career necessarily, but in terms of richness of human personality and the certain sense of life, goal of life, is to find your project and then to fulfill it, to live it. And it is important for the state, for the country, to create a right environment for people to be able to fulfill their project and to achieve the maximum. And therefore it is very important to avoid the temptation to compare yourself to others and to find frustration in seeing that somebody has a better sense of humor, somebody looks nicer, somebody has a better voice, whatever, and makes better jokes. But what you should compare yourself with is with the way you were before and the way you could become. This is the only basic criteria for comparison between yourself and others, apart maybe from the other one, some role models. You set some role models, and you think that you'd like to be like these people. And for this, I encourage you also, if I may, to maintain this yes we can attitude in life, and this is another role model, the author of these words, and this slogan, which won elections actually some years ago. As you are young, and we are young, and we just had local elections in Chisinau, you know, doesn't even know from our foreign guests. Can our foreign guests, not Moldovans, raise your hands, please? Just so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we identify. You see, there is a tendency. There is only one sitting in the middle seat of the Boeing. There are 2 or 3 sitting in the left, and the majority somehow got concentrated in the back. Can you raise your hands again? And if we may, and what about you?
Me.
Yeah. Once again, the guests of Chisinau, if you can, very briefly, to help us also to be a better host, to tell who you are, what country you're coming from.
I am Annalise from Italy.
Annalise from Italy.
Yeah.
What part of Italy?
Florence.
Or you heard? Wow.
I am Danilo from Italy, and you are going to hear another wow because I'm from Florence.
I am Milan Rashid from Romania.
Fantastic.
Whoa.
My name is Mahari, and I'm from the Republic of Ireland,
Fantastic.
based on Limerick, southern side of Ireland.
There are a couple of more colleagues, guests of Moldova in that route who rose their hands. Oh yes, right.
I'm Constantin from Romania, from Bucharest.
Welcome.
And I'm Kudrin from Romania.
So there's a Romanic Irish group. Romanic meaning the origin of the languages.
And I am Ekaterina, I'm from Russia.
Welcome, Ekaterina. And what about you guys?
Aidan from Azerbaijan.
Huh? Yeah. Aidan from Azerbaijan. And the one who knew the answer from this negotiation group. Aidan, does it mean anything in your language, Aidan?
Yes, it does.
What does it mean?
Well, it kind of means moon and dawn. I means moon.
Moon?
Yeah.
Moon like moon from...
Yes.
Alexander Vassiliev, I'm from Russia.
Well, from Moscow. And Ekaterina, are you from Moscow as well?
No, I'm not. I'm actually from Siberia.
So this is another lesson. This is another lesson. You have to know how to present yourself and make you unique and rememberable. But what Siberia is a rather big territory.
Yeah, my city is Kemerovo. It's a coal mining capital.
You used to have a governor, Mr. Tuleyev, for many years. Not anymore, from what I know. Very good. And there are 2 more, if I do not... Please.
My name is Mihna Stoic. I'm from Romania, from Cluj-Napoca. Or to make it more interesting, Transylvania.
We have colleagues from Bucharest, colleagues from Iași, and a colleague from Transylvania.
The last time Andrei Stoichev, Sofia, Bulgaria.
And the Mr. Secretary General, Dimitris, where is him? I'm sorry.
Hello, Sofia, Bulgaria. Wow.
You know, the value of this, you might have changed that there is no tension in the room and the ice was broken. And maybe to break the ice sometimes is important in relationship, in communication, and to set the course and the communication and openness level for very good discussion. With this, I tell particularly to the guests of Chisinau, but also to the hosts, the story I wanted to tell and that I started. So I assume the hosts, the guests do not know about our second round of our last elections for the mayor of Chisinau. But let us make an exercise. Ekaterina, how old is the mayor in Kemerovo, more or less, in his?
He's
62. Okay. What about Cluj? You used to do
40 something.
40 something, right? Well, Sofia?
Mid-40s.
Mid-40s. Moscow, Mrs. Sobyanin is in late 50s.
Say something. Lushkov was about 70.
Okay, okay. So, and Florence, do you have a mayor in Florence? It's our artist city, Michelangelo, and
32.
32.
Yeah, it's the
Wow.
youngest. He's the youngest mayor of Italy.
Good. The youngest mayor, that was the point I wanted to bring everybody. Mayor of Chisinau won a campaign, a very complicated, contested, very short margin from another candidate. Opposition candidate was 36, but current incumbent mayor won the race at the age of 33 or 32. What? Who knows? 32. When he won elections back in 2007, he was 28. Yeah? Imagine winning opposition from incumbent or from opposition at the age of 28. But the reason of my story is totally different. When Dorin Kirtoaka, who is now mayor, was just 23 in 2004, he just came back to Moldova from his studies in, do you know the story? In Romania. But he graduated from a university, then worked for a year and a half at the TV show, and then he came back home to Chisinau. And he applied for a job. You know, he applied for the job at the Ministry of Foreign Affairs of Moldova, to which I have to say, Olga Bogdan was just accepted a month ago, and starting next month she starts working in the Council of Europe division, as well as Inga Bogdan also went through the contest, and I met Inga in the foreign ministry, but I know that she went to the internship last year and made a very good impression from this. So these two ladies made it from the first attempt. Mayor Dorin Kirtoaka, when he was about 24, he also tried to become a diplomat, and he went for an interview at the foreign ministry. And my senior colleague now, our charge d'affaires in Ankara, had a good discussion with him. Dorin speaks good French, he speaks fluent English, he is a very outspoken guy. But our colleague said in the foreign ministry, you know, I'm impressed, but there is something, I look at your CV and it is, you lack real experience, you know. So my advice to you, you go to real life, find a job, work there for a couple of years, and then you can come back to the foreign ministry and you'll make a successful candidate. And he followed this advice, and he became the mayor of Chisinau. And this is, yes, we can attitude, which everybody must and can perform and see the benefits of it in your life. Ladies and gentlemen, you're on the fantastic flight. I enjoyed this parallel with Boeing 737. There are 4 and 4 and 4 rows. The destination is future. Make most fun and use out of this experience, starting with your meeting in Chisinau.
Thank you, Mr. Andrei Popov, for this very encouraging and supportive speech. And for the exercise, I think it has helped our delegates to know each other a little better and to understand how important is building relationships and among countries. At this moment, I would also like to mention that this initiative is made possible due to the support of the organization Creative Development Association, the community of the alumni of the US government exchange programs. This initiative has actually started a year ago as a result of an exchange year in the USA, and we are very happy that we have had the opportunity to integrate it and to make it sustainable within the framework of the Creative Development Association. We are very glad to have here today Mrs. Svetlana Suveika, who is the president of the board of the Creative Development Association. Mrs. Suveika, welcome. We are glad to have you here.
Dear guests, dear delegates, I'm extremely honored and happy to greet you on behalf of the Association for the Creative Development, which represents the US alumni community in Moldova. It's my first event in the position of the president, and I will use this opportunity to make several remarks. The Association for the Creative Development is honored and pleased to support a unique event, the Model United Nations event, which is very popular around the world, but was not did not happen before in Moldova. It all started last year, as Olga already mentioned, with a team of young, enthusiastic people led by Olga, Bogdan. They decided actually to embark in an adventure and organize a Model United Nations conference with Moldovan delegates. It was a success. This event proved to be a success, and this was possible because of the organizers' previous experience in modeling United Nations around the world, combined with dedication and hard work, and not less important is the interest and efforts of all the delegates that joined this opportunity from the north of Moldova, from the south, and from Transnistria. Moreover, in 2010, this experience of 2010 Model United Nations opened new perspectives toward an international event in which Moldovan team put even more work, more soul in order to gather all you here. And the sunny Moldova, not so sunny, but I used to call a sunny republic, welcomes all you here in Chisinau. That is why the Alumni Association for the Creative Development decided to support the organizers' team, and here we are hosting such a prestigious and interesting event this year. I also have a personal story to tell related to UN model. And today's reunion brings me back to 1999, where as a young lecturer in history, I participated in the summer school in global governance and human security organized by the Central European University in Budapest, and I was one of the 30 delegates that took part in a simulation in the UN model simulation. We worked drafting at 748 resolution that imposed arms embargo on Libya in 1992, and I acted in the name of Morocco, which I remember abstained from the vote. We had as a guest Mrs. Gillian Sorensen, a very pleasant lady, who served at that moment as Assistant Secretary General for External Relations, appointed by the Secretary General Kofi Annan. And she was the contact point for the Secretary General with parliamentarians, with academics, religious leaders. So she was very much welcome in our simulation. I must confess it was an unforgettable experience. I learned a lot about Morocco. I learned a lot about United Nations mechanism of decision making, as well as about intercultural solidarity, communication outside the UN frame. And I also kept in touch with some of those delegates. One is a professor in Poland, another is a professor in Lithuania at the moment. Moreover, I started to teach an MA course in international relations theory at Moldova State University, and then was invited to this course at ULIM, another Moldovan university, and then in Timișoara at another university. So my experience teaches me that you become to understand the issue when you touch the issue. So such simulation is one of this opportunity when you understand the issue, and it makes you think about it in depth. As the UN Secretary General Ban Ki-moon put it in the last address to Global Model UN Conference, you never know where this conference can lead you. I believe this can lead you toward a bright diplomatic career, a joint leadership on the volunteer project, why not building valuable networks and friendships. The ADC team I represent believes that you will have a wonderful experience within this conference that will enrich you both personally and professionally, as well as will orient you toward thinking about the way each of you can contribute to the democratic development of your community, of your country, and toward a mutual understanding and cultural exchange. You should also use those days and become familiar with the Moldovan culture and tradition, our values and beliefs, and why not about the challenges we face. I think through reflections and mutual exchange, each of us can come to valuable conclusions, valuable ideas that might be useful to our society. Last but not least, on behalf of US Alumni Community of Moldova, I would like to say a special thank you to organizers team for their effort and dedication, and also to our sponsors who believed in the MDIMUN project. And I'm sure that they will not be disappointed by your work. I congratulate you as the delegates as well as the contributors with such a prestigious event, and I wish you all the success in your work.
Thank you, Mrs. Suveka, for your support. I'm sure that the delegates will actually need the success that you have wished us, since the 3 days will be a very long debate and negotiations on the different topics on the agenda of the 4 committees that are being simulated. We believe that we will reach common resolutions and compromises in the end of these simulations, and will really be or have a good standing of a Model United Nations simulation. I would also like to take the chance to acknowledge the important support and sponsorship of the Ministry of Youth and Sport of the Republic of Moldova, even though unfortunately the minister himself and the representatives were not able to attend this opening ceremony. However, we believe that support is important, and through a common effort building, we as young people together can accomplish these ideas that foster international cooperation. Through sharing experiences, we can learn to act diplomatically and according to the United Nations standards and values. That is why we believe it is very important that the experience of other Model United Nations initiatives be taken into consideration. In preparing this conference, we have aspired to achieve maximum continuity with all the other Model United Nations initiatives, and as it was well said by one of our partners, the Model United Nations in Moldova is the last puzzle piece in the building of the European structure of Model United Nations. At this time, I would like to thank and be very grateful for the support of our MUN partners, especially the MDIMUN International Foundation, the Model United Nations Initiative in Sofia, Bulgaria, without whose support and guidance we wouldn't be able to advance this concept to an international level. And at this time I'd like to welcome the Secretary General of the Model United Nations, Moldova International Model United Nations Conference, Mr. Dimitar Mandragiev, who is also Executive Director of the MDIMUN International Foundation in Sofia. Dimitar, welcome to our opening ceremony. Thank you for your support, And we are looking forward to have very fruitful debates under your guidance as a Secretary General.
Thank you very much, Olga. I believe that thank yous and gratitudes for my persona and my team would be in order after the conference, so let's hope for the best. Your Excellencies, distinguished guests, members of the press, honorable chairpersons, participants at the premier edition of Moldova International Model United Nations 2011 here in the beautiful city of Chisinau, Moldova. I was here for the past 3 days. I'm not telling you a personal story. I'm telling you a professional. I was here for the past 3 days, and yesterday, for some reason, I took out one of my 5 charters of the United Nations. They all are the same. The substance is the same, they look the same. Now I have one with me. And for some reason I started reading it like for the 50th or something time. In the introductory note, the first sentence states, the Charter of the United Nations was signed on 26th of June 1945. What was yesterday's date? Thank you. Planning this initiative with Olga, we didn't even think that it would coincide with the 26th of June 1945. However, I see that symbolism is something good. We're talking about planes, flights. I'm going to talk about other things. I'm going to talk about people. I'm going to talk to those that go into those flights. I would really be happy to see you not only here. You have made the right step to see you also in other conferences. Not in Sofia, of course in Sofia, but in other conferences around the world. You have taken the first step towards progress. You have come here. No matter what brought you here, whether was it the bad weather, or whether was it the great people you're going to meet, or whether this was because you saw that the sponsors, partners of this initiative, are coming together in order to do something for you, because this is for you. No matter where you come from, Moldova, Bulgaria, Italy, should I say Florence apart from Italy? No, okay. No matter where you come from, the idea is to show that we are different, but to look in one direction. I've been doing these MUNs, Model European Unions, Model NATOs, and other international organizations for the past couple of years now. I don't have the time really to do this, but I love to do it on a personal level, on a professional level. On a personal level, we form friendships, we form lasting relationships, and people I haven't seen like for the past 2 years, I see them now here today. I'm very happy for that. From the professional side, I learn a lot. I learn a lot from delegates, I learn a lot from colleague chairpersons, I learn a lot from other SGs, security generals. I'm not only a security general, secretary general, excuse me. I'm also sometimes a chairperson, sometimes a delegate, sometimes a member of the press. This is what you will also be tomorrow if you continue what you have started today. Some of you are like experienced, have a couple of MUNs back in your history, but it doesn't come down to what you have done. It comes down whether you persist and continue to do it. To stop doing what is good for you is not something which I like, and that's why I'm still here, that's why I'm coming. I'm at the age of 25 years. However, I believe that years and age doesn't matter when it comes down to making progress. As Vice Minister Popov said, progress is something that should be done on a daily basis, always. We should learn always. This is a great initiative. The premier edition of Moldova International Model United Nations, in Chisinau, I think will be a bigger wow than all the other MUNs I've ever been to. I'm saying this not only because we have a very good secretariat, meaning the chairpersons. I'll be presenting them in a short while. I'm saying this because I see that it is not common the majority of the participants to be from the state in which the MUN is happening. However, this is a good thing. This is something which shows that you want to work together. You want to combine your efforts for Moldova together with other people. It's not like 10 people from the Republic of Moldova. The majority is from the Republic of Moldova. And we are here to combine our efforts together in order to work for a better future of Moldova, for Europe, for the United Nations. I move now into the practical example how we have combined our efforts in the Secretariat. I'm going to present to your attention the chairpersons of the 4 organs that are simulated at this MUN. I will start with the Security Council of the United Nations. It's going to be presided by Mr. Andrei Yovo from Moldova and Mr. Alexander Vasiliev from Russia. I then move to the Human Rights Council. We have 2 lovely ladies in that council. That are Nina Spartaro, who is from Moldova, and the next chairperson, also from Moldova, Ms. Natalia Katalanchuk. The Economic and Social Council is for people that are a bit more business, movable, mobile, should I say, that love to make business while making social policy. It's absurd, but it's sometimes the way it is. This council is going to be presided by Mr. Sergei Savin, who is from Moldova, and his Bulgarian colleague chairperson, Mr. Andrei Stoichev. And last but not least, the so-called couple chairpersons, only because it's female and male for now, but let's see what happens here. Miss Michaela Cebar, as you see, she's from Moldova, beautiful. And Mihnea Stoica from Romania. Okay, we finished with this part. Now let's finish with my speech. Okay. What I would like to say in conclusion is that prior to the opening ceremony, I had the ability to have a little talk with Mr. Popov, the Vice Minister. What he told me is something which we encourage through the Sophie Moon Foundation in every state which we go into to make MUNs or other types of initiatives like this one. We have done this in Bosnia and Herzegovina, Israel, in Lebanon, in Romania also, in Netherlands, and other places around the world. It is that young, bright minds from the non-governmental sector are to be pulled into the governmental sector. Because you see, you are the future. You may sometimes not like the state you're living in, and that is why you want to go out. But this is your state. We have the same situation in Bulgaria. All around the world is the same situation. But this is your roads, these are your trees, these are your friends. Yes, go abroad, come back and work for the prosperity of your state. This goes for the people that are here in Moldova, this goes for the people from Italy, for the people from Bulgaria, Azerbaijan, and Ireland. And sorry, for Russia also. To be honest enough, it was 2 months ago, and with this I conclude my speech. It was 2 months ago when I had the ability and honor to meet Secretary General Mr. Ban Ki-moon in Sofia. And at a 2-hour meeting, in which half an hour was especially for youth activities, I had the ability to have a little talk with His Excellency. What he told me is a message which I was planning to deliver this year's edition of Sophie Moon in July, next month in Sofia. However, I'm going to give you a hint. His Excellency Mr. Ban Ki-moon said one very important thing, and that is that the youth, the young people, are the foundation. of the future. So whatever you do here today, you should know that you're doing it for you and for your future. In this sense, I would like to conclude by stating that with the powers invested in me, I will not pronounce you married, so with the powers invested in me by the organizing committee, with the help of the sponsors and supporters and partners of this great initiative that we're about to begin, I now declare the Moldova International Model United Nations open.
Thank you, Mr. Secretary General. Thank you, honorable and distinguished guests and representatives of our partners, supporters. We hope that for the future, this will become a tradition of organizing an MUN every year, and the list of supporters will enlarge so that we can all come together for the benefit and for the detriment of the Republic of Moldova and for the young society, promoting democratic and United Nations values. I sincerely hope that this conference will make an important contribution to the development of young relationships and both on a non-governmental sector, as it was mentioned, as well as between the non-governmental sector and the governmental sector, the public-private partnerships, and many other kinds of partnerships which actually contribute to the development of a better world that we live in. I am very happy to see all the delegates here from different countries, from the Republic of Moldova, including from the Transnistrian region. We are happy to have a quite a big delegation from the Transnistrian region, and we hope that you will get engaged really actively in the debates and the negotiations of our foreign United Nations organs. Thank you everybody for being present at this opening ceremony. We are very honored to have you here, and we'll take all your words and suggestions and advice as very close, and we'll take action, as well said by one of the organizers, put words into action, and then it will become reality. Thank you once again, and at this time I would like to invite all the participants as well as the distinguished guests and representatives for a reception in the restaurant just nearby. Thank you, and we are looking forward to having a very fruitful conference starting tomorrow during the committee sessions.